If you're using GPT-5 or expensive models to run your AI agents, you are burning your money for nothing. Because Google DeepMind just proved that they were able to use an AI agent that cost around a penny to beat all these big and expensive models. No fine-tuning and no trick. In this video, I'm going to show you what is their very smart approach and how you can use it right now to gain the significant benefits out of it. Let's check it out. Even when you use all these expensive models in your AI agents, you see that they're failing not because of their dumb, because no one has told them the rules. Sometimes they generate nonsense SQL code in your SQL agent, or they generate a false code to call an API, or they totally misunderstand the query because they have no clue how to action. It doesn't mean that they don't know the knowledge. So check this out. There was actually a Kaggle competition that mentioned in this DeepMind paper. They were able to generate a chess game so AI models can compete with each other. And 78% of the time that Gemini 2.5, which back in the time was one of the recent models, was making illegal moves. So 78% of the failures is because it didn't know the rule of chess. You might have also seen this video I created before, which I was able to let these very big and also the most advanced models compare with each other through playing chess head to head. I was watching their advanced reasoning on left and right. If you haven't watched this video, check this out. I will add it to the video description. But what I realized is that these models are obviously among the best ones. And for sure, they know what is chess and what are the rules, but they were still making a mistake which was in common across all the models, even the winner ones, which was about the fact that they were hallucinating the moves. So most of the time, I had to fix them and tell them that, hey, that's an illegal move. Check out the rules again and retry and make the next move in the correct path. And that was how I was able to calculate how many times the retry was happening and how many times the winner model was a little bit faster compared to the other ones to make a correct decision without hallucination. So Google mentioned the same thing in the Kaggle competition. 70% of the time it was an illegal move and hallucinated model, even the big ones. Now, how are you going to fix this? Well, there are multiple ways, but let's see, do they really worth it or not? First, you need to do some fine-tuning. Let's say I want to fine-tune a model that is extremely good and in this reasoning capability. Chess game is a good example, but my point is not using chess. Obviously, you have a lot of agents for different purposes, but chess is one that needs advanced reasoning. So if the reasoning of your agent fails, chess move gonna be illegal, or calling a SQL code gonna be illegal. Generating a code for calling an API gonna be illegal. So fine-tuning is one way, but it is expensive, and there is a great chance when you do fine-tuning, suddenly your model degrade on performing on other stuff that you didn't fine-tune. It's a known phenomenon that when you fine-tune model on a specific thing, it's gonna be worth on doing other things which it was good before fine-tuning. Second thing is manual harness. So that means you go check why an agent failed and go back in your prompt and modify that. Hey, next time when you're gonna generate a SQL query, make sure that table exists, or this is a table name, don't miss a spell. But that iterative workflow is first of all expensive, time consuming, and of course it won't fix that illegal move or hallucination again, because you are just fixing your problem through prompt. So you're putting yourself in an iterative loop of repeating the same mistake again and again. You're just shifting your mistakes from one type to another, but you're not resolving this problem. So what they're proposing in this DeepMind paper, they realize that who knows these models the best? For example, GPT-5. Who knows GPT-5 the best? Is it me, you, other models? No one, except GPT-5 model by itself. Same thing to Gemini, same to other models. Every single model is capable of knowing itself the most. So why don't we use the same model to help us be better and fix itself? How? Let's say in chess game, instead of just I let a language model to play and do advanced reasoning, I will use that LLM same model to create a harness code for me, a guideline, a code that will fix illegal moves before they happen. So that fix or guideline here is code. It's not a prompt. Now, how do we create this guideline or fixing engine? This is what they do. Again, chess game is just an example. You can copy to any agentic workflow. First, you have a solution that, let's say, generate a move that an LLM knows what's going to be the next move on the chess game. But you might make some illegal moves or the model or agent hallucinate. So that gotta be a criticism here happening. Then we will ship that error all the way back to the refiner, and that refiner is the same model by itself that, hey, you made an illegal move. It's gonna go and generate a code that, okay, for next time, I'm gonna use this code to first check if my move is legal or not, then I execute that on the chess field. You do it again, iteratively through multiple loops. Each time you are making this new code getting enriched with fixing all the potential mistakes and guidelines. So next time when you generate a move by AI model to make that happen in the chess field, it's never gonna make any of those mistakes again, and the chance of doing a retry by yourself gonna be close to zero as you iteratively improve this synthesis engine for refinement. So for that strategy of refining that code execution to make sure it follows the best practice and guideline, how do we create that guideline? They started this space search with three algorithm. So what you do is that you start with root, you figure out that the first illegal move in that chess field was due to X. Then you go and fix it. At the same time, in parallel, you figure out there are other failure reasons. So you go with the other node. So you do all these search through nodes and subnodes to find different reasons of failure in parallel calls and come up with the best path in this decision tree that give you the lowest amount of errors and the fastest time of right execution without retry. Now, if this is the winning path here as specified, I'm gonna code this by the same model as a guardrail to check before making any decision. All right, now we are getting into the taxonomy of autonomy, or better to say, how we can make these models improve themselves. First, we have just in your AI agent, a language model that decides for any agentic action, calling a tool, generating a code. But second way, which is a better one, and I'm gonna tell you how much cheaper it's gonna be, you will have, of course, again, LLM do the job for you, but there is a code generated by the same LLM that verify its action before making that happen, which is that chess game example I told you. Moving further, they did something wild in the paper. They mentioned that how about generating a code that does everything, so we don't need LLM at all. And it worked, and it performed much better than using LLM. So I gotta give you this hint right now in this video. Think about any agents if you're, let's say, using Cloudbot. I know a lot of you are wasting so many tokens paying expensive models. There might be scenarios that you don't need LLM each time to make a decision or do something. Ask that LLM or AI agent that, hey, if you can generate the code, a deterministic code that capture all that scenarios from that decision tree path I told you to make a decision and make an execution and an action, maybe I don't need LLM naively each time make a decision and do the action. And it worked in a lot of gaming scenarios in their paper, but I strongly believe it can go beyond just gaming. Sometimes using these language models and agents, including myself, make me lazy. I feel like I want to dump everything to an AI agent that is empowered by a language model to do something, but that language model by itself, it knows itself so well, so it can generate a code that mimic what the LLM could do. So I just call it a deterministic code, which is zero. That means right now you can drop some of your agent costs to zero because you can just replace them by a code that is a guardrail fully generated by an LLM once, and you just refine it as you use and you see errors. They tested this approach across a variety of different games, I think 100 games, and they realized that as they go and create this iterative workflow of finding the faulty ones and then create that guardrail engine, after a couple of iterations, they were able to gain 100% accuracy on the movement of, let's say, chess or any game with just this approach. That means if they were able to just use GPT-5, which was, let's say, 60% of the time, 70% of the time accurate on making legal moves, now they're using much cheaper model like Gemini Flash, as they noted in the paper, which is 100% accurate, because that Gemini Flash is empowered by a guardrail code that check those illegal moves that is generated by the language model, so which is beating that bigger model, which happened to me as well when I was creating that chess game within the AI models. Here is more accurate numbers. They mentioned that using Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is much supposed to be better than Flash, it was the win rate in that given game 38%, but with just using that AutoHarness approach that I just talked about, they were able to increase the accuracy. And it's not just performance gain. And think about how much cost you're gonna save, and you're gonna make money-based gain out of that AI agent, not just again performance. And here on the right side, you will see that the performance of wins or loses within the given game that they were testing, and the green ones are the ones that they're using this AutoHarness approach. You can see on average it was performing better or winning more games compared to more expensive and even more intelligent models. Again, as I mentioned, that I want to challenge you, think about some of the AI agents or environments. You can synthesize the entire policy, the code, the guardrail code that I told you as pure Python. So at runtime, the agent executes natively without ever calling the LLM. I think this is going to be the biggest gain. If you can apply that in some of your agents, that means you can technically drop the LLM call for that agentic workflow if you have that LLM generated that policy pure by code. And that code is again keep getting refined, getting that better and better through that iterative decision tree approach of trial and test that I just explained to you. Using Cloud Code, I was able to actually implement this approach and even in the paper. So here is, for example, I have created an agent that is text to SQL, which is pretty well known. You type in chat what you want. The AI agent generates a SQL query all the way to a database, fetch a result back, and answer you in natural language. Because I didn't have any database, so I was able to simulate some of that with again Cloud Code. And I was trying to actually make that a little bit complex, making sure these advanced models fail, and see if that cheaper one with this AutoHarness will beat that expensive model or not. So using GPT-5.2, which is the same model they mentioned in the paper, you can see I have this table with customer names, products, orders, and I just want to run the sample queries. I already saved in the backend of the demo. This one has no validation, no AutoHarness. I'm just calling GPT 5.2 as is, and you can see when it fails. So I'm just filtering the failed ones. You can see that some of the queries here, 5 as an example, it was failing to call that query because it shows the wrong table. So it hallucinated a table, no such table exists. Or sometimes no such column exists. Query ran, but suddenly failed because it didn't create any errors. So there was something wrong in the generated query. So same here, I have some okay queries, but some of them they failed. So in order to fix that, the agent should do retry. Each retry is costing you much more because you are using an expensive model like GPT 5.2. And imagine that if that retry loop gonna be over and over for all these queries, by the end of the month, you are really spending a lot of money for absolutely nothing. You are being forced to pay for this retry mechanism. Why don't you just stop it? All right, so to start that, I wanted to train that policy engine for AutoHarness using the approach that paper mentioned, that again, the nodes and trees I talked to you about already through that parallel iteration of calls. So let's run and let's see how it works. All right, you can see that at the root, there was an issue in iteration 1. For example, again, the table name didn't exist. There was an hallucination. So now we go in parallel, call the query to find different error reasons. In node 1, which is the first node under that tree, there is a column name that was an issue. So we added a validation code that checked the column name before calling the SQL. So if LLM generated a query, we push that query to a code we generated using LLM to check the validation of the column name. Now we go back to root to see if that was fixed or not. So if not, we will go to the other node, which is, for example, adding alias resolution for joins. So make sure the joinings won't fail again next time. So we iteratively do this until we figure out that, okay, for all the sample queries we have, now 100% of them works successfully because the validation checked and figured out the potential errors before even sending the query, and we just one retry, it fixed that. So we fix a lot of money, retry gonna be max just one time, and we're using a much cheaper model, let's say Gemini Flash as an example, instead of GPT 5.2, but now we have 100% accuracy here. Now, we just generated this policy, which is a code right now to check everything based on that iterative loop. Now, if I'm gonna run the same queries again, this time with this harness Python code that we just generated, let's see what's gonna be the difference. So it's gonna take a bit of time. Hopefully gonna be finishing soon, and there you go. So here you can see that there was a question, show me our top customers by revenue, right? So the attempt 1 failed because of a reason mentioned here. So you can go through the details. For example, here it says that table transaction does not exist. And then because we had a validator that we generated using this AutoHarness training, attempt 2 was valid. It fixed. Same thing for the second query, third query, so on and so forth. Sometimes even the first attempt was valid. So without harness, 4 out of 5 failed, if you recall. But with harness, this time, this tab, we've caught 4 of them. We fixed that, and 1 of them, there were no issues. So we had finally 0 error rate. Even if that happened in the first iteration, we catched it. And before even sending the query to the table or database, we were able to fix that immediately. And here's the interesting part. I really wanted to realize that, okay, how much am I gonna save with flipping that model from GPT 5.2 to Gemini Flash, and at the same time making sure the accuracy is still high. So to give you a rough estimation, again, using Cloud Code, I provided some pricing references. So it gave me a calculation of all the tokens and how much it costs. All of paired those queries, including the one that failed and the retry. So here are the reasons. Again, these are very abbreviated, but if I scroll all the way down, this summary is very interesting. Almost, if I'm gonna run this all in a daily manner with 500 queries as an example, it's gonna cost me around 2,800 per month. And do I really need to pay that money to just making sure I have a proper advanced text-to-SQL agent? Well, when I tried this AutoHarness approach and then just using Gemini Flash after that initial iteration of training, validation cost 0, because that validation piece is just a code that you keep making it better and better. It's pure Python. And then I'm just paying one-time training cost for that iterative decision tree because it's a trial and test loop, and it was pretty cheap because I'm using, let's say, Gemini Flash here. These are very estimated high-level numbers, and because this is really not a true database, I simulate all this data, try to trick a little bit of the tables to make sure it is tricky for the model to make a decision. But even with this simulated data, the difference was so clear for me that how much I'm saving here. Alright, and here is the mind-blowing question they raise in the paper, which I want to also leave you with this at the end of the paper, which is we are really getting into the recursive self-improving agents from different angles, and this is one of them. So potentially the future is not, again, using all big gigantic generic models and you just pay for nothing and just go through the iterative loop. You can just literally have this AutoHarness capability as an isolated guardrail for creating perfect rules for a given AI agent task. And after that, you can just literally drop your expensive models and try the cheaper ones because you have this isolated AutoHarness that is really controlling your AI agent. Alright, that was all about this video. I hope you found it helpful. If yes, please consider like and share your comments and subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thank you so much.